Right now, a man in Michigan is already looking to appeal after he was convicted of murdering a teenage girl. Jurors finding James Vancalis guilty of all counts, including murder, kidnapping, and attempted sexual assault. The body of his victim, 14-year-old April Millsap, was found bruised and beaten near a hiking trail. Prosecutors said Vancalis used his motorcycle helmet to kill her, but his lawyer says there's no physical evidence to prove that. Our legal panel is here to talk about it. Lise Wheel is a Fox News legal analyst. Dan Schorr is a former prosecutor. Yeah, the prosecution suspected the helmet, the motorcycle helmet, was the murder weapon used to beat her to death, but her DNA was not on it.
Well, they have reason to believe that he wiped that away, cleaned the DNA off. Now, of course, jurors in the CSI world expect that DNA, so it's more difficult for the prosecution to bring a quote-unquote non-DNA case. But they had the helmet itself, and they could see from the way that the helmet went into her throat, that the marking there was very indicative that that was the murder weapon. They had her Fit app on her phone going away from the scene just seconds before the actual murder, and they were able to, with a Google map, able to superimpose and find his motorcycle at that spot at the time. And she sent her text to her boyfriend saying, "I almost got kidnapped," seconds ago before she was fatally killed.
Well, police didn't have any eyewitnesses that put the two of them there together, but they were able to sort of, using that Fit app that Lise talked about, they were able to sort of create a timeline, which is fascinating.
Right. Well, there were witnesses who saw his motorcycle in the area, and some witnesses said they saw him in the area on the motorbike. You also have video showing his motorcycle traveling. You had testimony from his ex-girlfriend who said that in the middle of the night that night, he was using hand sanitizer to clean off his boots, and that she found human hair and grass in the pocket of his hoodie. So there was a lot of strange circumstances. He also told her that he had done something wrong that day. So there was a lot of evidence corroborating the fact that he had been involved in an incident with this girl and probably killed her.
Right.
But let's talk about the appeal, because his lawyer says he didn't get a fair trial, says the jury was sympathetic because the victim here is 14 years old.
Right.
He's 34.
And if I'm the prosecution, I say so. I mean, that you can't. If I'm the prosecution, I don't make up the facts. I don't create the defendant. I don't create the victim. That's what happened. Now, did I not have direct evidence? No, I did not have direct evidence. But we had all the evidence that we just spoke about. That's great circumstantial evidence. And something that people sometimes misunderstand is that circumstantial evidence is just as good and just as viable as direct evidence. So if the only argument the defense can make is, oh, the jury felt sympathetic towards the victim and not the defendant, that's not going to get a retrial.
Well, if he wanted to battle that sympathy, I suppose the lawyer could have put his client, Vancalis, on the stand. He did not take the stand.
Right, he did not testify, and he didn't say where his whereabouts were at the time of the murder. So there's all this evidence putting him at the scene of the crime. You have the suspicious behavior I mentioned earlier right after the crime, and that convinced the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that he was guilty. Now, he could have testified. He chose not to. That's his right, but that's a trial decision and a strategy that they went with, and it didn't work.
Right, and the jury is told by the judge, don't take that into consideration, that he didn't take the stand. But do they, when they're sitting impaneled in the jury room? We don't know that.
It's not a death penalty case. He is likely to be, well, the sentence is life. He's not been sentenced yet. Lise Wheel, Dan Schorr, thank you.